President Biden is vowing to take down any object that presents a threat to American security. The president addressed the recent shootdowns of 3 unidentified objects, acknowledging they were not spying on the U.S., but he's standing by his decision to take them down. Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz is tracking the latest on that.
For the first time, an official explanation about those 3 mysterious objects shot down after that Chinese spy balloon swept across the country. President Biden acknowledging the 3 flying objects were not a national security threat.
The intelligence community's current assessment is that these 3 objects were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation or research institutions studying weather or conducting other scientific research.
The administration had deemed the objects a threat to civil aviation, so sent fighter jets to shoot them down.
Definitely smaller than a car.
One after another over Alaska, Canada, and Lake Huron. The balloons were detected after NORAD adjusted radars to track smaller, slower aircraft at high altitudes in light of that Chinese incursion. But there are hundreds of balloons over the U.S. every day, thousands and thousands globally, with few regulations in place. The president saying that will now change, calling for a better and accessible inventory of unmanned airborne objects, better measures to detect objects in U.S. airspace, and updated rules for launching those unmanned craft. A daunting set of goals that will not be done quickly. In the meantime, the U.S. is trying to recalibrate the radars so they pick up legitimate spy craft while weeding out benign balloons. Meantime, the administration is finding valuable information from the recovery of the payload from the Chinese spy balloon. As for the other 3 small balloons, the search at Lake Huron has now been suspended because of the low probability of recovery. In fact, a U.S. official tells ABC News that given the remote areas where the balloons were shot down, they may never find any of them. Diane?
Interesting. Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz, thank you. And White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks joins me live now for more on this. Mary Alice, the larger issue here is spying by China. So how is President Biden addressing those concerns?
Yeah, Diane, he's trying to walk a fine line. He wants to send a clear message to China that any intrusion into U.S. sovereign airspace will not be tolerated. You heard the president yesterday saying that he makes no apology for tracking that Chinese spy balloon, for taking it down over the Atlantic, saying that they learned a lot about that balloon. They were able to protect sensitive U.S. sites. But he also wants to work with global partners and kind of put this into a larger diplomatic effort to make sure that across the world there's pressure on China to slow these kinds of spying programs. And he also had this line. He said that he wants the relationship with China to be one of competition, not conflict. The White House is very aware that things could escalate quickly between these 2 countries, and they don't want missteps like that. They want to try to lower the temperature, too.
And Mary Alice, how significant are these new steps the president announced to deal with flying objects like these moving forward?
I mean, I think they are significant, but like Martha said there in that piece, they are also daunting. We're talking about a big project that the government is going to embark on now, trying to have keep better track of exactly what is in the sky. Some of these objects that are just for research, that are just for scientific discovery, but they need to figure out how to track them better, how to keep track of them better, and how to figure out where, when, and where they actually could become a threat to commercial planes, to military sites. So I don't think this is the kind of program, kind of new government response that we're going to see rolled out overnight. This is a long-term project for the government to try to figure out how to handle these objects better.
And on that note, Mary Alice, the president faced criticism for waiting too long to shoot down the Chinese spy balloon, and also criticism for overreacting to these other 3 objects. So how's the White House responding to that?
They're leaning heavily on this idea that he listened to his military advisors. That first, with that Chinese spy balloon, his military advisors told him to wait to make sure that there wasn't a threat or any possibility of endangering people or property on the ground, to wait until the balloon was back over the Atlantic. And then similarly, with these last few objects, that it was military advisors that said, out of an abundance of caution, let's take them out of the skies. Even though they know now, or at least their best assessment now, is that those objects were not actually actually spying, were not actually a threat to national security. So the White House, again, really trying to say the president was listening to his military advisors. But I'm not sure that's going to be enough to silence those critics. There's a lot of people that are going to say this is a bad look for this White House, that they shot down objects out of the sky that might have just been there for research. Diane.
All right, White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.